Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Rude Dog Show. I am your host, and as humble as I am on Memorial Day, thank you for tuning in for an entire hour of fantastic goodness. I'll have Krista Lambert on, who has a new show on WBLZ Sports, which reminds me, as well as this should remind you, go download the app. It's free. It's on the Google Play Store as well as on iTunes. So thank you, everybody, for tuning into a very special edition here on Labor Day weekend. That is the Rude Dog Show. I wanted to thank a lot of people, a lot of men and women that have served in our country's military. A very special thank you for that. A lot of times we don't really get into the meat and potatoes of why we're here, or why we're free, for that matter. And I just wanted to thank you all for your service. Without it, we wouldn't have the freedoms that we currently enjoy. We can go to the movies, we can go watch pro football games, we can go watch our favorite college basketball. So, thank you, and I salute you. So, salut to that. Well, I'm not in the business of saying I told you so. And moreover, something I'm not accustomed to stating, that I'm going to rub it in to the runners-up in the NBA semifinals. That's not what I do. That is not what I do. That was them, and this is now. See what I did there? Western Conference champion Golden State Warriors will again take on the Eastern Conference champion and current NBA champion Cleveland Cavaliers for the third time in NBA history. These two teams will meet again. I had a feeling this was going to happen, by the way. Just like everybody else did. It was almost a writings on the wall by Mr. Freely himself. A lot of questions surrounding the differentials between these two teams, such as who will the Cavaliers be guarding? Who's the better matchup? How do they take Kevin Durant out of the equation? You probably think maybe Kevin Love, maybe Schubert takes a shot. Maybe even LeBron James gets involved in the rotation to protect Kevin Durant from hitting basically wherever he wants. Could that be a potential problem for the Cavaliers down the stretch in this series? Yes. They're going to have to find a way to block out the long, lengthy, talented, athletic Kevin Durant. Will that prevent him from posting up when he receives the ball into passing? Yeah, Stephen, they did. In July, because the writings were on the wall. Good point. I'm here on Facebook Live as well, so tune in. We're talking Cavaliers, Warriors, as if you didn't see this one coming. If you thought that these two teams would not be here, you are sadly and utterly mistaken. Not an utter disappointment for some, because I'm certainly not disappointed. I'm glad these two teams are back. These two teams have fought through two other opponents in two other series in the semis just to get here. I like the Cavaliers in this matchup, but I think that you could probably take it back and say, well, you have Iguodala and you have bench production, and we'll go into that as we progress into the show. But what's even more interesting is that the unspoken guys. Remember that when last year when Andre Iguodala won the MVP and LeBron James posted up more points, doing more things than Andre Iguodala did, winning the NBA's final MVP award? Anybody remember that? Well, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but whether or not the Cavaliers move on to win the championship or they lose this series, LeBron James should be named Finals MVP. And it shouldn't just go to the winner. I think that's a huge facade, and I think it's a big mistake. because you're leaving all these other fantastic talents who have been a part of these respective rosters that have played out throughout the regular series, played out now in the finals, and will have done everything they needed to do from being the go-to guy, the next man up, to the guy who's been doing it all season long. Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, LeBron James, Kyrie Irving. Names ring a bell? They should. You should already be more than acquainted with who these guys really are. Andre Iguodala now averaging 9 points per game, and JaVale McGee, who is the go-to without the incredibly gifted Steph Curry on the floor. To splash or not to splash? Well, it's splash. Never mind. Forget the babies. That is the question. Maybe it's the way Klay Thompson has not only been the catalyst in many respects, someone who continues to have taken over in a variety of games and basically could win it by himself. Well, no, not really. He could. Anybody like the sound of that? Any Klay Thompson fans out there? Don't forget to tune in. I'm here, Facebook Live. Make sure you download the app. It's free. Yes, I know. It's free. It is. No, really, it is. Also, go check out SeatGiant.com. Use the code RUDOG if you want the experience, not just a piece of paper. I can pull one out on my printer. What experience is that going to give me? It's blank. Well, you won't be blanked using SeatGiant.com. I think Klay Thompson himself, when you look at his game, when you look at what he's done all season long, he continues to be the man with the plan, not only for himself while he's in the NBA, but certainly has made a name for himself as one of the Golden State Warriors' best players. He can hit the three, he can post up from anywhere, and make the shots you wouldn't expect. He's daggered from three before. No, it's not Steph Curry-like. You can't get those two mixed up. Klay Thompson's taller. Is there any other difference between the two? I don't know. But the Warriors have not only been able to get back to the grandest stage this year, but have found a way through their collective resiliency, consistency, and persistence by the addition, without subtraction, that is being Kevin Durant, who had decided, and some of you may not have appreciated how it had all taken place. Some of you were even very, very disheartened when you learned that Kevin Durant had left your beloved Thunder. And what's interesting about Kevin Durant is that he wanted to find a place to be. He wanted a home to go to. He found it. He wanted a championship caliber team to go along with what has been eluding him this entire time. I think the Warriors team since last season has seen much better differentials between the scorers and the ones who are leading the pack to score. It's no big secret, it's not rocket science to think that scoring and defense has to be any given part of your roster, your bench. So far, yes, even without Durant on the floor, winning over 15 games heading into postseason. Despite some injuries that have came along the way, which have not been drastic. Can you think of any major injuries? And we've spoken about this on the show before. Any major injuries for the Cleveland Cavaliers? No, not really. Nothing that had prevented them from being in the position they're in right now. Winning 15 in a row despite not having Kevin Durant, I think you have some pretty decent odds right there. Steph Curry knew he was injured. He stepped up. Klay Thompson knew he was injured. They stepped up. You have guys on your roster who rally around the one that is new to you. The one who is familiar with you. Heck, the Thunder with Kevin Durant, very familiar with the Golden State Warriors, somehow could not find a way to get past him. I believe that's one of the reasons why Kevin Durant decided to make the switch. And I don't blame him. I know you fans out there are probably thinking, well, he could have done it with the Thunder. Really? Name one other player, not named Russell Westbrook, that was helpful to you other than Adams. No, nobody. You know, Steven, both of these teams won when they needed to and who they played against. Yes, Cavaliers destroyed Toronto. Who else do they have other than DeRozan? Nobody. They took them out and swept them in 4. Boston Celtics, between Marcus Smart and Avery Bradley, was Isaiah Thomas, out with a hip injury. Oh. Did they have a ton of role players on their team? No, not really. That's why they were able to get to where they were at. Cleveland Cavaliers, very deep bench. J.R. Smith, Kevin Love, Kyrie Irving, LeBron James. Yes. Are they bigger? Maybe with Kevin Love in the equation, they're bigger, but without Kevin Love, they look in almost a mirror image as the Golden State Warriors did. And that's a good question. Do the Cavaliers do this in 5, in 6? Do they take it in 7? Do they even win this series in 5? Big question. So far this year, even without Durant, they've been able to do it. That means they're deep, they're solid, they know how to score, they're great from three-point land, they're great from the line. Steph Curry would be on dagger threes that just make you shake your head in amazement. How did he get that off? How did he do that? How does he get so far away from the rim and still make it look as if he's standing right underneath the basket? Look, I'm not on a bandwagon here. I don't care who wins. I want the best team to win. I want the best identified players to play their best in their transition. Offensively with fast break opportunities. Defensively by keeping guys from posting up and getting inside of the paint. That's what I want to see. I want to see amazing three-point shots. I want none of this post-up jumper from 10 feet from the hoop. No, man. I could make those. I want somebody to step up and crush this game. Can it be LeBron James? Do the Golden State Warriors have the ability to block out LeBron James? No. No. But what they're going to do is they're going to try to force him to pass the ball, be the assist machine throughout the series. Make him the scorer. Make him the guy who's going to execute, whether he's inside of the paint, getting to the rim, or passing the ball on the outside for Kevin Love to do his thing. Or Kyrie Irving, who is on fire. Yes, I said fire. Someone call the wambulance. Wham. I'm not on the bandwagon. Like I said, let me just make sure I clarify that for everybody who's listening and watching. I'm on Facebook Live and WBLZ Sports for about another 45 minutes. So you'll have to bear with me. I look at this Warriors team and I look at their bench. Okay, fine. So I'm going to throw the MLB similarities there. Does a Major League Baseball team need depth on their bench? Yes. Yes, they do. Lots of bodies that can play, not just bodies to occupy and keep the bench warm or from flying up if the wind's too fast. This team has one of the best bench players who can answer the call. Do I believe Kevin Durant is the answer? No, not really. Look, Cavaliers made their adjustments defensively. This isn't the bypass surgery that has gotten them to where they're at right now. They made the corrections. I don't know. I'd like to think that the Cavaliers have more offense than the Golden State Warriors, but that's not exactly accurate. That's not accurate. Kevin Love is good. Kevin Love's really good. Probably one of the best position players. Is he the best? No. Now, we could debate all day, all week, all month long, but at the end of the day, the best team wins. Do the referees help them out? Don't get me started in that conversation. I believe the Cavs will have a tough time guarding Kevin Durant. As I stated in the onset of the show, who will stop him? You're going to see people taking turns because that's just what they're going to do. That's what they need to do. They need to confuse the Golden State Warriors. They need to confuse Kevin Durant. But Kevin Durant, how athletic is he? How determined is he? Something that's been eluding him for years, whereas he had seen the likes of guys like Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green winning titles. He hasn't won one. Kevin Durant on the court in the playoffs gives them a different look offensively, and yes, he will score very often. Watch out if Kevin Durant gets hot. It'll be nearly a daunting task for the Cavaliers to try to find a way to guard him. Steph Curry's ability to make Curry stew has been taste tested this season with Kevin Durant's contributions for this Warriors club. How much will a possible victory taste that much better, you ask? Oh, bittersweet. I'd like to pick the starters for this Warriors team as Game 1 is on the horizon. However, I believe Steve Kerr seems to know a lot better than I do about those types of decisions. A meltdown? A meltdown for the Cavaliers, Steven chimes in again. You know what? They had a meltdown in the last 15 games defensively. Yes, the Cleveland Cavaliers, the number 2 seeded Eastern Conference champion Cleveland Cavaliers. But you wouldn't have known that in the Raptors series, would you? Would you have noticed that during the Celtics series, maybe? Maybe during Game 1, LeBron James was, shot 7 points the entire game? Offensive meltdown. Don't forget, LeBron James is historic when it comes to missing and having off games when, not the series that counts, but it's the game they're playing in that counts. I know the Warriors will handpick the difference makers, and based on I've seen, you know the obvious players that will start. I'm not going to go through the piece by piece. I need to take a quick break. I have a special guest coming on, and I need to make these bills become paid. How to pay the bills on WBLZ Sports. Anyway, I'll be right back. This is Rudy Reyes. Hey, welcome back to the Rudy Dog Show. This is Rudy Reyes at WBLZsports.com. Make sure you've downloaded the app. It is free. Go to the Google Play Store, or you can go to iTunes and download the app. I am your host, Rudy Reyes. Thank you so much for tuning in. And I will have a special guest coming and calling in momentarily, so don't be discouraged. Stay tuned in. I'm here on Facebook Live, as well as on WBLZ Sports itself. So make sure you tune in for that one. Steven chimes in again. Raptors forgot to play, period. If they had played like a team and not a bunch of individuals, they might have had some luck. But they lack depth and role players off the bench also. That is the key to my point, is that the Boston Celtics had role players, not guys who stepped up. No one can be Isaiah Thomas. I don't care if you merge somehow genetically Marcus Smart and Avery Bradley, it's still no Isaiah Thomas. Both of those players individually had a way to be effective in a game, not enough without Isaiah Thomas. DeMar DeRozan, they forgot to play as a unit. They only have a highlight player in DeMar DeRozan who could really get it done. Their bench production was horrible. How they got to that point, I don't know. I really don't know. They probably willed their way to the semifinals. Look, nobody remembers number 2. Nobody remembers the runners up. What do you get, a participation flag lifted as a banner in your stadium? In your arena? No. No, they didn't. And they won't. It will never happen. And as long as the Raptors don't have the high-rated talent, who wants to go to Toronto? I don't know. I'd rather stay in California. Or in the United States. I wouldn't go to Toronto. Toronto? Okay, fine. So Toronto's a great place to be if you want to be Canadian. Or if you just want to go there to visit. Or maybe to watch the Toronto Raptors lose it in the semifinals. That's up to you. But as I go back to what I was saying before, Stephen, you have to have the bench production. The guys to step up when they need to play, how they need to get it done, they did not. They did not. As for the Cavaliers and their bench production, you can try and scare someone, or better, have them drink some water to dissolve the hiccup problems. Oh. Sorry. These steps back for them heading into the playoffs could be called the wrong direction. Not to be confused with the band. If you were to disagree that the Cavaliers did it their way, you could probably have a good argument to stating that they did it the way they wanted to, despite, I'm not ditch Canadians. No, sir. No, sir. That's not my thing. I'm saying for me, it's not a place I want to go. Not a place I want to visit. That's not ditching on Canadians. Did their team lose? Yes. Will they be back next year? Yes. Were they there the year before? Yes. So, we will not have a Canadian team playing in the NHL either this year. Ottawa's knocking on the door. If it wasn't for Kunitz, well, you know how that story goes. How about those Penguins? But the defensive woes that plagued the Cavaliers in the regular season and heading into the playoffs, and still slightly a hangover existed while they were playing against the Toronto Raptors, of course, maybe not as prevalent because of the high scoring. There were miscues, there were stumbles, and you question their ability to make the corrections moving onward. And they did. They took care of DeMar DeRozan. Series sweep over the Raptors, and a decisive series win without questionably one of the best players in Isaiah Thomas for the Boston Celtics. Okay, thank you, Stephen. I hope I clarified myself in that manner. It's not for me. If you live there, oh, Canada. Warriors are 12-0 in the series. Cavaliers are 12-1. If you thought that all the shooting had everything to do with what the Warriors had done, chew on this. Cavaliers are a team with the second highest percentage of field goals that were three-pointers. And they led the playoffs in three-pointers per game per 100 possessions. That is not bad. What do you think they're at where they're at right now? At the NBA Finals. They're number one in three-point percentage. Nope. Despite Steph Curry and his best efforts, despite Klay Thompson, despite Kevin Durant, they're number one in three-point percentage. But look at this. Can they hang in with what the Warriors have? Oh, cool. Well, thanks for checking in. I had a feeling you're from Canada, hence the Toronto Blue Jay logo on your profile. Well, thank you for checking in all the way from Canada. I appreciate it. Unfortunately, my Skype is not working, so I will not be able to receive calls. But I'm still waiting for Chris DeLambert to... Oh, I let the cat out of the bag. Uh-oh. Latest show here from the cheap seats on WBLZ Sports. A new member to the family. Welcome to the family. Look, the Cavaliers revamped the team, able to hang in with the Warriors' offensive output and results in a three-point triple-headed monster between Irving, Love, and LeBron James. I said LeBron. He's not French or French-Canadian. LeBron. Shooting 42% from the playoffs from deep, but of course you can't count out guys like Kyle Korver, J.R. Smith, and maybe even a little Channing Frye. Sizzle, sizzle, fry, fry. Warriors are 8th in three-pointers allowed per 100 possessions. They're kind of, sort of, somewhere in the middle. They ditto for the middle, but 4th in three-point percentage allowed, which means that the transitions they're looking for defensively and preventing the 3 points are okay. They're not the best at it. Biggest question, who is going to tackle and have the daunting task of forcing LeBron James to be the assist magnet? With as long as Kevin Durant is he going to get slow? Is he going to find himself off pace and not be able to keep up with the athletically gifted LeBron James? Or do they try sticking Iguodala on there? Maybe even a little Draymond Green. I think Draymond Green probably has a better chance of side of the paint of blocking out LeBron James than anybody. Because of his rebounding, because of his block shots. I don't know the last person that blocked LeBron James' shot, do you? Look at it from this angle. The Warriors have taken on a Kawhi Leonard-less San Antonio Spurs. Yes, they had a great backcourt. Yes, they had so many guys step up when they needed to. Not enough. Not enough. The Warriors did what they needed to do to move on. And welcome to the Rudy Reyes Show. This is Rudy Reyes. Are you there? Trying to hang on with Mr. Chris DeLambert. Are you there, Chris? Chris, are you there? I guess that is he not. He is not there. I'm going to try to call him. Let's see if we can get some type of reaction from him and what his thoughts are in this series. We talk about the Golden State Warriors. Are you with me, Chris? Hello? Are you with me, Chris? If so, I can't hear you. No, I see the ear. I just can't see you. If you can't hear me. No, you can't hear me? Oh, man. We tried. I know. Sorry, man. I just can't hear you. I can see you, but I just can't hear you. Wait, give me your typed thoughts, if you could, on this Golden State Warriors maybe taking the series in 7. No? You see the Cavaliers doing it? He's shaking it. Oh, he can't hear me. Okay. Well, we'll try it again. Sorry, man. Yeah, it didn't work out that way, unfortunately. But in either case, look, Kawhi Leonard did everything he needed to do. Are they the one-trick ponies for the Spurs? Will Kawhi Leonard be back next year? The answer is yes. You know, Draymond Green, going back to the guardian of LeBron James, look, I don't believe that you're going to see Draymond be the trailer to LeBron James. He's not as fast as LeBron James, no. Can he time it to a point where he attempts to block his shot or his lead up into the net, walking through the paint? Maybe. But he's not as fast. Could be the shadow. You have a good point there. Thank you, Stephen, for that interjection. I appreciate it. Look, the Warriors' rotation is amazing. Absolutely amazing. They put the guys in, they take the guys out. It's like the hokey pokey. You know, they take this guy in, take that guy out. You put him in, and he shakes the ball about. Makes the points when they count. Yeah, I'm a poet and didn't know it. What do you know? One of those days. Anyway, go to seatgiant.com, download the app if you can find it. You want the experience but not just tickets, go to seatgiant.com. Proud sponsor of the Rude Dog Show. But look, seamlessly, I think that the Warriors can get it done. Will he get it done in 5? I say 5. I think the Warriors will get it done in 5. They have the ability to get it done in 5. Question is whether or not they can score early and often and really make the Cavaliers defense a passerby. Meaning that if they can make the Cavaliers more of a where do we go and why are you so much faster than we are as we're trying to get to the hoop? That's the question. I think the Warriors bring a lot of great things to what they do. I think that there's enough firepower by the Golden State Warriors to really make this a game. I think the Warriors take it in 5. I really do. They can score early and often. They have the bench. They have the players. They have the guys. But they need to play their game. They need to play their game. And if they do, and they can keep this series close, I think the Golden State Warriors have a very good chance of winning this series in 5. Now, on the other side of it, Cavaliers with Kyrie Irving, who's on fire, basically taking down everything but the kitchen sink by himself. I don't think there's enough conversation because Kyrie Irving stepped up his game in such a way, and we're going to highlight him for a minute or two, because Kyrie Irving deserves to have more conversation regarding what he does in clutch situations and needing to step up when he has to. Don't forget, in 2015, Kyrie Irving fractured his kneecap in the opener. I don't think so. Golden State Warriors are much better with Kevin Durant defensively. They're great inside of the paint. They're better on the perimeter because they have Durant, and other guys know how to step it up too. They've been doing it all season long. I think that you're going to see Kevin Durant play more of a role offensively in fast break opportunities to really take the Cavaliers off of what they're accustomed to doing. You can also make the argument that LeBron James should have been named the 2015 Finals MVP. He went 35.8 points per game, 13 rebounds, over 8 assists in 46 minutes per game. Not bad for a guy who has done it all season long. Should Andre Iguodala have received that Finals MVP award? No. Nope. I don't think so. Am I a LeBron James fan addict? No. No. I'm not a fan of any one player because you miss out on how they're playing collectively as a team. But when you have LeBron James getting to where he needs to inside of the paint, driving the lane, and Kyrie Irving shooting when he wants to, where he wants to, and how he wants to, a lot to be desired for Kyrie Irving knowing how to step it up in the playoffs. Mike Brown is quoted as a lot of guys who can shoot the three-pointer, but that's all they can do. Kyrie Irving can dribble, drive, finish, shoot the three-pointer in a catch-and-shoot situation. How many passes in the ball? It's a one-step. It's a one-step shot. That's it. All the great players can do it. All the great players have done it. Great players like LeBron James, Steph Curry, Draymond Green. Kevin Love's not great yet. I don't think he's right there. It depends on what his performance is in this series. Will he take it to the next level? Will he be the dominant? Showing his dominance inside of the paint. Can he do it offensively? Can he be the assist factor? I believe he can. He has the ability to do it. He's shown it all season long on what he can do. Question is, what can he not do? Where will he show? Where will he need to be? If the Cavaliers somehow find a reason and find a way to make this a series and to take it to 7. LeBron James quoted, he was born to play 101. He's one of the great 101 players in league history. I don't agree. One of the best one-on-one players in NBA history is Kobe Bryant. Is he on the top 10 somewhere, maybe top 15 for Kyrie Irving? Yes. No question. He has a mid-range pull-up. He has a three-point dagger. He's got this little mid-range floater. He can do a lot of things. He can get above the guys that stand over 7 feet tall. Kyrie Irving. He even shot one over Steph Curry from 25 feet away. 93-89 victory in Game 7. What do you know? Irving switched over Klay Thompson in a fast break opportunity, 109-108. That was on Christmas Day. Merry Christmas to them. I think the Warriors have a better option to be able to guard out and block out LeBron James. But do they have the complete answer to prevent LeBron James from being the drive type player with the drive type mentality to really bust this game wide open, bust this series wide open? Warriors led in fast break points at 22.6 per game, and in the playoffs, almost 21 points. Much better. Much better for the Cavaliers. But giving up almost 11 fast break points, which isn't good for them from a transitional offensive series, they could get taken advantage of quickly. Because as a team, they're not as fast getting to the fast break, creating the opportunity to score at the other end. Thank you, everybody, for the share. Tune in. I'm on Facebook Live as well as WBLZSports.com and the apps. Gotta love the Twins from Google or iTunes. That's the WBLZ Sports app. I'm on for about another 15 minutes. You can communicate with me here on Facebook Live. You can always ask questions. You can always check the RudolphShow.com out. I have all types of great interviews, and this show will be posted there as well as on SoundCloud. So thank you for tuning in there as well. Where's Tristan Thompson? Where? Anybody know? Tristan Thompson, almost 10 points per game and almost 10 rebounds per game. He took advantage of the opportunity when they were playing in the Boston series. He did fantastically. It's hard to keep Thompson off the glass. Second chance opportunities will kill you and will kill the Warriors unless they find a way to box out guys like LeBron James, Kyrie Irving, and maybe even Kevin Love if he feels so generous to try to drive the lane himself. I like the JaVale McGee option for the Golden State Warriors, however. The guy has been on fire. I can only imagine at least one of these guys during the series on either side of the ball, whether it be the Cavaliers or the Warriors, to do this. The feed me the ball conversation. Who gets the edge between Irving and Curry? Well, I think you know. Curry has been able to hit so many dagger threes from distance and the three-point line, it just makes you scratch your head and wonder, how did he do that? Those with and without hair. He averages almost 25 points per game, and this is not a favorable match for Kyrie Irving despite his athleticism and how he's able to really take care of and prevent guys like Steph Curry from shooting over him. It must feel pretty bad, and I can't even imagine any given NBA player from a guy you can't stand for whatever reason making those dagger threes over your head that you have nothing to do with. Reminds me of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar with the baby hook or the full-blown sky hook. Where's that? You can't block that. There's nothing to block. It's impossible. Is there a legacy building in Cleveland? I know I've talked about this on the show before. I mentioned that the Warriors, and I've had Ray Woodson on this show. He does some great stuff talking about the Warriors in San Francisco. And we were talking about the Warriors and how deep they are. And I think to myself, can Mike Brown do it without Steve Kerr, who continues to come back from lower back surgery? Steve Kerr, certainly a guy who's going to be missed if for some reason he's not able to come back. But like I said before, Steven chimed in, Kevin Love can stay healthy. I think he can. He's in a very solid series. He has the ability to stay healthy. He just has to make better decisions while he's on the floor. When he goes up to try to block a shot, or if he's the assist guy or whatever capacity he's playing in, he has to play smart. He can't be stuck on getting involved in physical altercations, which can ultimately hurt you. And I think Kevin Love, with his injury history, needs to avoid those types of confrontations. But Love and Green match up very well, especially on the inside. And that's where they're going to be used. Draymond Green on the inside, the guy to help block out any possibilities. But again, if you don't play man and you lose your man, that man will drain a three over you. And I think from an outside perspective, both of these teams have the ability to get a lead on you early and often. I think the Cleveland Cavaliers have nothing but depth. Golden State Warriors, nothing but depth. The question is, who will outlast two? What is a coaching game plan? And I'm going to say it before, and I'm going to say it again. Warriors take this in 5. Some people say 7 games. And I can see 7. I can see 7. But if the Warriors can take the lead early and score at will, prevent the Cavaliers from playing their type of game, especially in Golden State or even in Cleveland, they can take this series early by taking the mental edge and being able to wipe away any type of resiliency that the Cavaliers have working in their favor. But is there a legacy in Cleveland? There could be. If they win this one, certainly conversations could arise from that. Could the Golden State Warriors be even better with Kevin Durant in the lineup in this final series? I like it. I like Kevin Durant. I appreciate what he brings offensively, defensively. He can be deadly. I watched this guy for years. He will melt you down. If you're silver, watch out. Yes, I'm a West Coast guy. I live in the West Coast, but my favorite teams are on the East Coast. But I will say this. Regardless of how good the Golden State Warriors are and how good the Cleveland Cavaliers are, the Warriors have the edge. They have the edge. They have the depth. They have the bench scoring. Oh, well, there you go, Steven. You know, the NBA is going to try to push it because it's the ratings factor and they'll have the refs involved in that process. Yeah, I agree with that. There'll be some, well, the ref will call some bogus play saying he was fouled. They're going to be ticky-tack. This one's going to be ref tightly, but there will be some ticky-tack fouls that can change the course of a game, of any game. Even baseball, football, especially basketball. I can't see the Warriors losing again to the Cleveland Cavaliers. I think you're going to see this type of epic play out for years to come between the Cavaliers and the Golden State Warriors. You're going to see it because both of these teams are extremely talented. They're deep, they're smart, they're bruisers on the inside, they will kill you on the outside. Effective passers. They will take advantage of you at any given turn. Either one of these teams. You probably couldn't get any better of a series than what you're about to witness. If you're listening, Chris, thank you, man. I appreciate you trying. I don't know what happened either. But thanks for calling in. We'll touch base. The Warriors will end up taking this in 7. There's something about their depth, something about the way they've been playing with who they have in the rotation. I thought LeBron James asking the Cleveland Cavaliers organization to get him some more guys. Sitting out in games, not being the defensive juggernauts that they have been in games past this season. I think the answers were there. He needed to step his game up, and he did. Make the points count when he did. He did that. This is going to be exciting. I'm excited. You should be excited as well. I don't believe this is going to go to 7. It may, because of refereeing or lack thereof, perhaps. Eventually, there can only be one. Biggest question is, who is? Who's going to be number 1? Who's going to be number 2? Will you remember number 2, the runners-up? Yes, in secondary conversation. If you're a Cavaliers fan, you want your team to play like they have been throughout the entire playoffs, from the semis to where they're at right now. That is what you want. If you're a Warriors fan, you want them to play consistent because that's what they've done all season long. Make no mistake, both of these teams are going to come with their absolute best. And I wait for dumb fouls to be called. I wait for ticky-tack technicals to be called. You mean who's going to sell it the best? Who has their seller's permit for the next 5 years? In LeBron James? LeBron James. How many dives will LeBron James make in the series? Oh. He's going to sell it. You're a salesman on the court. When you're trying to get a call to work in your favor, you're going to sell it. I think James Harden's one of the best at engaging the foul. One of the best. He'll walk right into you, jump right into you just to draw the foul, and then pretend it wasn't him. It's great. Absolutely great. I've seen LeBron James doing it at least twice. In the series, twice. Depends on a lot of factors. Are they going to referee this very closely? If so, maybe not. If there's a looser refereeing involved in the series, he may take more than 3. Maybe 1 per game. I don't know. He'll have to make that determination all by himself. I like to think that LeBron James doesn't have to resort to that type of sloppiness. That type of mentality. Will the Warriors get involved in this hack-a-brawn thing? They may have to. I can't wait to see this series. But switching gears for half a second, Pittsburgh Penguins going back-to-back Stanley Cup Finals against a Nashville Predator team who has not been there until now. People saying Smashville. The Nashville Predators, as you would suspect, is taking fandom to a whole nother level. They decided to paint a car in Pittsburgh Penguin colors, which are very similar to theirs, to beat it up, to smash it. Come on, Nashville. You must be better than that. You must be. I like the Pittsburgh Penguins in this matchup, not because I'm a fan, but because of what they bring. You want to talk about bench? You want to talk about some parallels between the NBA and the NHL? That's what you have. The parallels, they exist. They're right there. Bench production will win every single time. The next man up situation. Kunitz with the 3-2. Over the shoulder. Left side for the goal, for the win. Nashville will make it a series, but they have no playoff experience. Not Stanley Cup. Leading up to the Stanley Cup? Yes. Have they ever won one? No. Penguins have. They've been here many, many times with the lineup they have. With the young man, Sid the Kid, Sidney Crosby. Game 1 is tonight. Well, PPG is going to be screaming and ranting, I can tell you that right now. And of course, I'm going to be watching. Yeah, so there you go. I had to throw you a Canadian, proverbial Canadian leaf, Stephen. So you going for the Penguins? You want the Penguins to win? Or do you want Nashville to win? I'm going to throw a poll up there after I get done with this show. Anyway, go to SeatGiant.com. Gain the experience. Leave the hassle behind you. Go to SeatGiant.com. Use the code RUDOG on your way out of the purchase and get something off of it. I don't know how much. I already have my tickets. So I'm good. Anyway, thank you everybody for tuning in. This is Rudy Reyes on the Rude Dog Show, WBLZSports.com.